Linda Kozlowski became a successful film star in 1986, as well as Paul Hogan through Crocodile Dundee. After the film trilogy, she turned away from Hollywood and the industry. We'll tell you how she has fared over the past few years. Linda Kozlowski was born in Connecticut on January 7, 1958. She studied singing at the renowned Juilliard School in New York City. However, she was quickly drawn to the stage. In the early 1980s, she starred in several off-Broadway plays, including Death of a Salesman. That's why she landed a role alongside Dustin Hoffman and John Malkovich in the 1985 film adaptation of the drama. Only a year later, that breakthrough was followed by Crocodile Dundee, where she was to find her great love. In 1986, Linda Kozlowski took on the role of journalist Sue Charlton, who was supposed to interview Mick Crocodile Dundee. This role was played by Paul Hogan. The two became a couple not only in the movie, but in real life as well. She was nominated for a Golden Globe in 1987 for her work as Sue, but had to admit defeat to Maggie Smith. Crocodile Dundee was a real box office hit, which is why a sequel followed only 2 years later. Again, the couple embodied the two main characters, and also in the 1990 film, Almost an Angel. Linda and Paul became real Hollywood greats, and were considered a dream couple in front of and behind the camera. The wedding finally followed in 1990. They crowned their love with their son Chance. However, there was a long waiting period for another success in film. In 1995, Linda appeared in John Carpenter's horror film, Village of the Damned, alongside Christopher Reeve and Kirstie Alley playing a bigger role. In 2001, she dared to try for a third Crocodile Dundee flick, alongside her husband, but it was unable to build on the successes of the first two films. For Linda Kozlowski, this would be her last film for the time being. She turned away from acting and show business. In 2013, after 23 years of marriage, she and Paul Hogan filed for divorce. In an interview with New Idea, the actress spoke about the breakup. "I stood in Paul's shadow for many years. It's nice to finally feel my own light. From then on, she used this light to make her money with real estate. The actress invested the money she received when she divorced Paul Hogan. She came across some properties in Venice Beach that made her millions, according to the Daily Mail. While her ex-husband was still pursuing a few film projects, Linda is no longer in the public eye. Let's wait and see if Linda ever returns to the big screen." Dean Cain became famous for his role as Clark Kent in the television series Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. He played the superhero for 4 years and returned to the offshoot of the series in 2015. In Supergirl, however, he doesn't play the hero himself, but the protagonist's father. With this, Cain returns to the origins of his career. In the show, his character says the world already has a Superman, alluding to himself once again as Superman. Dean Cain had to struggle for a long time with his image as Superman. The series brought the actor a lot of success, and he owes his fame to it. But it was also the reason why, for a long time, he only received offers for very similar film characters. However, Cain found a solution, and after his success as Superman, he worked as a producer. Dean Cain didn't want to say goodbye to acting, so we'll show you what the actor is doing today. Clark Kent and Superman was Dean Cain's first major role. In 1997, the series was cancelled. Then the Superman actor founded the production company Angry Dragon Entertainment, with which he produced the show Ripley's Believe It or Not, and which he also hosted himself. But of course, his acting career was not neglected after the end of his time as Superman. Dean Cain has appeared in a number of films since 1997, including The Broken Hearts Club and Out of Time. Most of the films he has starred in recent years fall into the horror or action genres. Since his role as Superman, Dean Cain has always been a welcome guest in other series. In 2007, for example, he paid a visit to the series Smallville, based on the story of Superman. He also had guest appearances in Law & Order, Special Victims Unit, Criminal Minds, and Apartment 23. Apparently, Dean Cain can't say goodbye to the Superman story yet. From 2015 to 2017, he took on a recurring role in the series Supergirl. At the same time, he also played a leading role in the series Hit the Floor. Dean Cain has also hosted some television shows in the US. Among other things, he offered the candidates in $10 million Bigfoot bounty just that, to prove to him that Bigfoot actually exists. The former Superman actor has currently planned some new series projects, some of which he is producing himself, so Dean Cain is still doing great in show business. In 2020 and 2021, he was seen in numerous TV productions, such as The Platform, Skydog, The Man Who Went to Heaven, and Baby Bulldog. There are already several projects lined up for Dean Cain for 2022, as reported by IMDb. The former Superman actor is currently said to be in front of the camera for Trailblazers and Little Angels. We are excited to see what Dean Cain has been working on very soon.